It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show. Hey folks, welcome to AggroChat episode 10. We made it this long without dropping a week, and that's a pretty cool thing. And one of the weeks was entirely Ray's fault because we were totally not going to record, but she's kept us on track and we've done this 10 weeks in a row. Tonight we have Ash and Kodra unavailable, so we have Dallian and Tam. Hi, Dallian.
Hello.
Hi, Tam.
Hey.
And also we have Ray, because Ray is awesome. Hi, Ray.
Hi.
This week was a weird week because it's E3 week. I also got into some interesting things, but we'll start it off with like we always started off. Tam, what have you been playing?
Let's see. I have been playing WildStar a lot. I've jumped into the Star Citizen client now that I can actually play and do things.
How is that client working? Like, I've heard a lot of people that can't really fly. Is it optimized at all, or is it pretty bad off?
It's pretty hella alpha. But
yeah, it's an alpha.
But it's interesting. It's a game that I want to see get more refined because what's there is really promising.
I feel like it's one of two games that are kind of fighting for what I consider the holy grail of space exploration games. And it'll be interesting to see if No Man's Sky becomes it, or if game we're just talking about that lost my mind. Star Citizen, yes, if that becomes it.
Depends on if you like colors.
Yeah. Star Citizen definitely feels like the Quake version of space exploration, but anything else?
Those are the big ones. I played through Transistor again, but
cool.
We covered that, so.
Was it mostly to look for more plot points that now that you know the things?
No, it was mostly just a speed run.
Okay. Dal, what have you been up to?
I finished up Watch Dogs and started on Murdered Soul Suspect today, and I've been playing one of the Professor Layton games on the DS and trying to not suck at League of Legends.
In the mostest non-spoilery way possible, how was Watch Dogs?
I really liked it.
Cool.
I've said several times about the online stuff, but thankfully you can disable that.
That reminds me of my experience with Watch Dogs, which I still haven't played because it won't work on my machine. And I still desperately want to play it.
So I feel like it was maybe not as a big a success as people thought it was going to be, because this week I have been looking for a PlayStation 4. And I am cheap, and I have been searching Craigslist for it. And I have seen a lot of different PS4s for sale this week with Watch Dogs. So I'm wondering if that was the game people were waiting on, and when they played it, they decided they didn't really want their PS4. But if you say like it's a really good experience, then I'll probably like it.
I don't know. There are things that are kind of annoying, but it's not enough that I didn't enjoy the game.
Cool. Ray, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been doing quite a bit of WildStar again myself. My pace slowed down a little bit this week. I wasn't pushing my Stalker so much and playing around with different alts. I think I re-rolled my Esper twice, and then the third time she became a Spellslinger.
She slowed her pace, she says, as the tied for the highest level person in the guild, despite starting a week after everybody else.
Look, it's the whole piece of candy thing with me. You know, they keep laying out these little breadcrumbs, and I keep eating them.
Man, my pace has slowed massively because I feel like I'm playing Animal Crossing.
With your house?
With my house, yeah. Like, I log in so many nights and fiddle with the house and then really don't get much further than that.
I'm waiting a while to go back to fiddling with my house because I don't feel like I'm in a place where I can adequately do it justice. So I'm gonna, I wasn't in the beta and I didn't get all the fancy stuff that you guys did. All I do is talk to a carrot and jump up on some rocks every day. But eventually I will go back to that and you'll probably never see me for a week.
Let's see. Me, I guess now. I have been playing WildStar quite a bit. On Wednesday, I did our Faff About and Citadel night in Elder Scrolls, and really the number of people have dropped off significantly there, and it was pretty much just me and Delavax and someone else that I'm forgetting who right now. So there are just three of us running around out there, but it was still fun. Thursday, we of course had our league night, and that was the biggest attendance that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, and like there's a bunch of people that said that they'd be here next week. So yeah, that's apparently a thing now.
I'm just happy I got a kill on Ray.
Man,
He was persistent. He was like, I'm a dragon and I'm on your face.
man, sad times were me playing Aatrox and Ray playing Riven, and me trying to go for an easy early kill. And remembering, oh crap, Riven is just damn near an unstoppable early game. But it was good. It was like fun. I don't know how many games total we played, but I know there were a lot of ARAM games after I went off and played the next game I'm going to talk about, Warlords of Draenor. I am playing the game, and I am kind of mixed emotions about it. I feel like it's trying really, really hard, but I'm not sure if it's succeeding. And then finally, a friend of mine hooked me up with Destiny Alpha Code, and I have been playing that, and that is pretty awesome.
I was going to ask you about that because I forgot to try to get into the alpha for that.
Since this week is the E3 show week, let's just talk about it when we're talking about the E3 games, because I'm sure Tam can chime in some personal experience as well there. So the big thing of the week was E3. There was a big presser from Microsoft and one from Sony, one from EA, and one from Nintendo, and
Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, Ubisoft. Hopefully, since we don't have Kodra here, we probably won't go into the controversy over the Ubisoft one, but
If you could briefly sum it up, I saw a bunch of stuff that was like girls are too hard to draw or something.
So I can speak to some length about this one. I'll keep it short.
awesome.
Basically, Assassin's Creed 4, Assassin's Creed being Ubisoft's flagship series, the one they pour the most resources into, and one that notably has had an entire installation with a playable female character, as well as multiple female characters with full animation suites.
Didn't two of them have full female characters, or is it just the one?
I don't remember. I don't remember offhand. There was at least
Okay.
one. It may have been more than one. They're releasing what looks like a very cool new Assassin's Creed with 4-player co-op, where you're all playing very similar looking assassin dudes. And the criticism leveled at them, which I think is entirely valid, is why did you make 4 white dudes
Oh,
Yeah.
as your playable characters?
Especially when the game series has had like a Trinidadian, a Native American. I mean, they've had lots of different diverse characters.
Yeah, it's a series that's sort of a flat. It is one of the series that takes diversity to heart a lot more than other major AAA series. Like certainly Activision and EA's flagship games don't, and so it's very surprising that they didn't seem to bother. And their relatively weak excuse was animating a playable female character is very expensive and takes a lot of time.
And they've gone like several different directions with that. Like it started off being we didn't have time, and then they said it was just too hard to animate, and all of them have been kind of weak follow-up excuses. Especially when Assassin's Creed as a whole, I feel, has a really large female audience.
Yep.
I know lots of friends that look forward to the new Assassin's Creed each and every time and are just amped to play it. So
It was a poorly considered decision on somebody's part, and it wasn't helped at all by one of the former I assume former Assassin's Creed animators coming out the day of saying that the animation thing is a crock. So
former.
that sort of fueled a lot of the fire. There was a whole Twitter hashtag, women are hard to animate, if I have that right. I don't remember.
something like that, yeah. And there's a bunch of spin-off conversations that are happening, like, why is the white male just the default? Why is that the assumed default for these games? Like, why can't it be a woman as the default? And they pointed to, Tomb Raider being an extremely successful game with a, strong female lead. So, I don't know. It's a blazing controversy right now. And I would not be surprised if we see an 11th hour edition of a female playable character in that game, because it's been pretty universally.
It's apparently bad news it's like bad juju for reporters to come up with that topic on the E3 floor this week. like PR lockdown is in full effect.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's bad. It's a bad thing, especially since people have been clamoring for co-op for that game for a long time.
Well, and especially, I mean, not to segue into another part of the conversation, but this was the E3 of co-op.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, which for me, this is the first E3 I've seen in nearly a decade where every other game in almost every video I saw was something that I thought I might want to play. Because it was just like goofy fantasy after co-op, after goofy fantasy co-op, after interesting indie title, like just going on and on down the line. It was a surprisingly good show
and I feel
for
like
things that I wanted to play.
This generation of consoles is the first generation of consoles that really has the good, solid network support to support all these crazy things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you know, one of the things that happened this week as well for me is I got a PS4. And in part, I got a PS4 because I really liked the 2013 presser for Sony. After seeing that, I was pretty much sold on the console. I knew I would get it eventually. But after seeing the lineup this year, I took Tam's rule of 5 games either released or releasing shortly, and there's totally a whole list of things that I want to play on the PS4.
I have to eat my hat, actually.
Really?
In that I really want a Wii U now.
I kind of want a Wii U as well because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about if you're just judging a console based on exclusives and originals, right now the Wii U hands down has the strongest lineup.
The Wii U looks great.
Yeah,
because really, if you think about exclusives, what do the Xbox One and the PS4 really have? Like 1 or 2 apiece, period. I mean, right now, that are currently out on the market. So almost everything, unfortunately, I mean, because they're not getting third-party support on the Wii U, almost everything is an amazing Nintendo title. I really want to play the new Yoshi's Island game, the Yarn one. I forget what it's called, like something Yoshi's Wild Yarn or
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Woolly World. It looks awesome.
That's one of the games that when I saw the Nintendo video, I'm like, okay, I get a Wii U and play that.
Because it's totally, was it Yoshi's Island? Was that the first one that had the whole throwing eggs mechanic with the second cursor, I think, on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah, I love that game. It has some of my favorite music ever.
Well, this totally looks like another game along those lines, because I saw him doing that same mechanic again to trigger things that let you through. But, I don't know, like, I think especially if the Wii U gets a price drop, I think they will start to sell a lot of units. They have a really strong library.
I thought they already did a price drop.
Yeah, but it's still more than I want to pay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then again, I could, resort to Craigslist like I did for the PS4 and get
Risk
one
your
cheap.
kidneys.
I totally risked my kidneys for a $250 PS4, so.
I'm hoping that they have a Zelda limited edition Wii U, and I'll wait for that.
Because I guess so Hyrule Warriors or whatever, that's basically just Dynasty Warriors with Link, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It looks entertaining, though. I mean, it looks fun.
As much as a fan of Zelda as I am not going to be getting that game. I don't like Dynasty Warriors. That's not my kind of game.
The next pretty one?
No, that's the regular one. There's 2 Zelda games coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one's called like Hyrule Warriors, and it's literally Dynasty Warriors, which is a ancient franchise with reskinned Zelda enemies, basically. Okay, so Ray, what were the games that looked most impressive to you?
Well, I only got to see a couple of the videos, but I'm definitely interested in the new Fable game. Some of my friends really love the Fable games, and I've got Fable 3, and I keep meaning to play it, but I keep forgetting.
Fable 3 is amazing. Do you have it on the PC or do you have it on your Xbox?
Xbox.
Cool.
But just that idea of getting to play with friends, I think they've got some mechanics they need to work out still. Like, you have to have a network connection in order to co-op. You can't sit next to each other on the couch and play on the same Xbox to co-op. So that could use some work. But
I am so sorry, Ray. You will probably never see that again.
Is that the trend now?
Well, it's
Everybody who wants to play has to have their own console.
pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Nobody wants to do split screen anymore, unfortunately. And that was the way that the early consoles did that, was by either, cutting the screen into top and bottom or cutting the screen into 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to code that anymore. So I'm really hoping it comes out on the PC eventually.
Yeah.
Because Fable 3 is out on the PC. But I thought the Fable game looked really good. I am a huge fan of Fable. Even the weird Fable 2.
Well, did you see the video for this one?
Yeah, I did.
It's really interesting.
It totally looks like a almost pseudo MMO, kind of.
Yeah.
I just hope that the depth of the Fable series is still there, and they're not just leaning on multiplayer to make up for all of the content. Yeah, because one of the cool things about Fable was it was almost a world building sim to some extent, because you interacted with so many different things, and it would open up towns for you, and you would gain faction with them, and you could raise families, and then there were all these cool little side elements that were not directly connected to the main quest, and that was the aspect of it that I really liked. In fact, I thought Fable 3 was way too short content-wise, but there was so much sandboxy type stuff that you could go out into the world, and I had a wife in every town. Just because, it was it was something you could do in the game. I had a house and a wife and
Why not?
Why not?
Oh, it's funny.
But I think still my favorite Fable is the first one. I think it's the best in the long run, and
it's my goal to play all of them. I got my Xbox 360 with the Kinect, and I played Portal 2 and then half of Final Fantasy 13, and I have 3 other games for it that I haven't even touched yet.
Well, Fable 3 is definitely worth the playthrough, and I want to say that they released a Fable 1 remake for the 360, didn't they? Pretty sure they did.
I have to investigate.
But yeah, 1 and 2 are really good, or 1 and 3 are really good, and 2 is, it's okay. It's not as good. But yeah, so Fable looked interesting. What else looked interesting, Ray?
Dragon Age looks really cool. Granted, I, again, haven't played 1 or 2. I'm told that I should do that as well. It's on my list, my bucket list.
I would say 2 is just up to whether or not you want to play it. 2 is very divisive.
Man, that's those are way nicer words than I would have used, Bill.
I like Dragon Age 2, but just in our group of friends, some of us tolerate it, some of us like it, and some of us really, really hate it.
I bought Dragon Age 1, played through it, and my experience playing through it guaranteed a day 1 fancy pre-purchase of Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
And I played Dragon Age 2, and it guaranteed that I would not buy Dragon Age 3 until I heard somebody say good things about it.
I think for me, my experience with Dragon Age 2 is in part only because I was really busy with other games when it first came out. So I waited for a long time before I played it, and I got it on sale on Steam. And
there are totally people who, upon hearing my previous comment, they have their fists itching right now. Certainly.
Totally. Because I know people that love Dragon Age 2. The thing that hurt Dragon Age 2 for me is that I did not get to control my own character. In that I did not Dragon Age 1 had such rich background that you could go through several different, very unique playthroughs of the game. And Dragon Age 2, it's kind of just this one thing. You're this person. And sure, your decisions kind of matter, but it's not as rich. And I'm hoping Dragon Age 3 is a return to Dragon Age Origins and not just Dragon Age meets Skyrim like it looks.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really pretty, and the commentators were like, you can't possibly do this on a console. Not those fire particles.
Yeah, totally can. Apparently they haven't seen Second Son. Second Son is an amazingly pretty game. So is there anything else that just stood out for you?
Well, there's old new Smash Brothers. I played a couple of iterations on it, but I've never actually owned a Nintendo console. I've always gone over to other people's houses, so I never have the advantage everyone else has. But I imagine I would like to get good at Super Smash Brothers at some point.
I'll take this moment to express Ash's excitement about that game.
Yeah, Ash loves Super Smash Brothers.
The
Like-
Wii one or the DS one?
The GameCube one. I don't know. Like, I think that's the one that he still is fond of. I don't know if he likes a Wii one or not.
Well, they were talking that they're coming out with 2 different ones. One's going to be for the Wii and one's going to be for the handheld device. And
Right. The 3DS
they weren't
version.
very happy with the 3DS one because it was limiting. But, if you're on the go, it's probably good enough.
All I'll say on that is they had like an anime video, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's a Zelda TV series!" And then they psyched me out, and it was just an ad.
The thing I think's the coolest about Super Smash Brothers is the adding in of the basically their version of Skylanders, and I'm kind of hoping that means that we may see the same thing with Pokemon next iteration. I know that would be throw all the money at the screen, but I don't know. I just think it's cool. Like, I like the Skylanders concept. I've not really bought into it on either in Disney Infinity or Skylanders, but I think it's cool that you can have a physical toy that, when you put it in the game world, has stats associated with it.
Yeah, I like the idea that they had like the little Mario figure, and you put it on your controller, and it has your stats on there and all that stuff in it. I like that. I really like that.
The only
would
negative I can see is, like, so say you have a friend over that has had the game way longer than you. If he brings his character that he's leveled up over, it's gonna hurt. Like, it's gonna be bad times for you. But I don't know. I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, I always picked Yoshi whenever we played Super Smash Brothers because I like turning people into eggs and then launching them off the screen. That was my one combo.
So, okay, the thing that I just think is weird, did you notice that there was a figure for the yogurt instructor?
Yogurt?
Yoga instructor?
Oh, We Fit, yeah.
Yeah. Why did they make a figure of that?
Why
Who
not?
wants to play the yoga instructor?
Apparently it's pretty effective.
I mean, is that just to I don't know, rub it in that you got beaten by the yoga instructor?
I guess so. I mean,
Because it looks silly. Like, I saw somebody playing as a yoga instructor, and it just looked silly. Because it didn't have, like, traditional moves. It was just doing yoga.
but also kicking your butt at the same time.
Oh, totally. It looked brutal, but
Ironically, like it does in the main game.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But again, I don't know. Since I don't think anyone of us will be buying the DS version now, I will probably have to wait until I get a Wii U, if I get a Wii U.
I don't think there's a question of I don't think there's a question of me not getting a Wii U at this point.
Well, it's going to be one of those situations where I don't know. Like, right now, it's not worth it to me to pay the price currently. So if I can find one cheap, I will buy one. But
Well, I'm waiting until next year when Zelda comes out, but I'll get one then.
My problem is I'm so caught up with the computer and not just games, but all the other stuff that I do. It's hard for me to find time to do gaming elsewhere.
yeah, and that's we were actually talking about that before getting started here. Like, I kind of want to find a way for me to be able to hang out on TeamSpeak and play console games and be chatting with you guys. So like a foot pedal or something like that. I mean, they do exist. I've looked into it, but because that's the thing I miss the most about when I'm playing a console is that I don't have our voice chat.
What else?
Yeah. Okay. Tam, I'm gonna pick on you.
He had to go take care of something.
Oh, okay. Dallian, I'm gonna pick on you then. What did you think was awesome?
Well, this isn't a new, like, this wasn't revealed this year, but Witcher 3. I've already got that game pre-ordered.
Cool. I did not like Witcher 1, and I keep saying that I need to go back and play Witcher 2, because I've heard it's way better on the controls, because the problem I had with Witcher 1 was I just thought the controls were horrible.
I'll admit I never played the first one either, and I have yet to finish the second one, but the third one just looks amazing.
Oh, it does look amazing, and I will probably pick it up on a console, like on my PS4.
Yeah, that's what I have it pre-ordered on.
Because I think the problem is that's one of those series that may control far better on a console. Because like the problem I had with the first one was on the Steam copy, it felt really kludgy with the mouse and keyboard, and maybe if I go back and try and play it with a controller, it would be better.
Yeah, I'll say that on Witcher 2, that's the reason I bought an Xbox controller for my computer.
Okay, I've heard you can use the Xbox One controller now, which is interesting.
Yeah, they released whatever it is that allows you to do that.
The driver shaft.
I think you can do that now.
Cool. I think it only works like corded though with the USB cable, but still, it's kind of cool. Like that's another option. Because here's the thing: is like I've been shocked at how well the Xbox 360 controller has held its price. Because I totally expected when the Xbox One came out that I would be able to pick up a couple of cheap wired Xbox 360 controllers just to have for PC gaming. And it's maintained its price everywhere. So there's been certain places where I've even seen the Xbox One controller cheaper than the Xbox 360. What? Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
I know. But I totally expected it to take a price dive when the Xbox One came out. But yeah, like because right now that's probably my favorite PC gaming controller. So Witcher 3. Anything else?
The new Batman game looks pretty cool. I've enjoyed the other ones that I've played. I still need to play the last one that came out, but I like Batman games just because it's Batman and I love Batman.
Man, I have to say that version of the Scarecrow looked badass.
And any game that has Kevin Conroy doing the voice of Batman, I'm going to buy it.
That was the most vertical looking city I've ever seen. It was awesome.
They said it was the tallest so far.
Wow, yeah. And this one's supposed to be more open worldy, isn't it?
Something
that's
like
what I've heard.
5 times as big.
Well, because like I've only played the first of that series, and it was very much you're kind of on rails. And I think each additional title that's come out has been a little bit more open world. But this one definitely looked fairly open world. Because it would be badass to play Batman and swing between buildings and things like that with grappling hooks and stuff.
Just like Landmark.
Yeah, just like Landmark. Anything else, Dal?
I guess the last one that off my huge list would be the new Zelda game because I love Zelda.
And that's going to be the one that sells you a Wii U.
Yes, and especially if they come like, okay, you know, I bought the 3DS because they had a Zelda limited edition 3DS.
Yeah.
If they have a limited edition Wii U that's like gold and black or whatever, gold for Zelda, I will buy the crap out of that.
See, I didn't like the limited edition 3DS for Zelda. Like, I would have. I don't know. I mean, I think it could have looked better. I got the black 3DS XL, and I figured, if I really wanted a Zelda 3DS, I'll just throw a gold, Hyrule sticker on the back.
I will admit I had the Zelda DS as well, so it's kind of my thing.
Would you like me to draw you a chibi Link?
Yeah,
that would be kind of fun. Sure.
You should totally draw Dallian as Link. There you go.
There we go.
Because we need to get you a chibi-fied version since you're a regular fill-in host. Actually, both you and Tam, I'm not sure if you guys really classify as fill-ins or just, like occasional hosts now.
Reoccurring character.
Reoccurring characters, yeah.
Well, I mean, you've probably been on at least as much as I have.
No, not quite, but almost. I think this is your 3rd episode, Dallian, isn't it?
3rd or 4th?
Yeah, something like that. Okay, Tam, now that you're back.
What's up?
What
Sorry
games...
about that, by the way.
No problem. What games impressed you from E3?
Let's see. Impressed me or that I'm going to buy?
Either.
Because I kind of went into E3 knowing a bunch of games that I was going to see that I pretty much was already sold on, or at least was already watching, and E3 wasn't going to show me anything that I didn't already suspect.
Right.
Like Dragon Age Inquisition, Witcher 3.
Yeah, the only thing with Dragon Age Inquisition is I'm not sure if I'm going to get it on the PC or on a console yet. Like, I'm not sure. Like, part of me says PC is the way to go because of potential modding in the future, but I don't know. Like, I'm kind of feeling the PS4, so...
I could go either way on it. I don't know. I think No Man's Sky looks amazing.
That one was on my list too, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was really impressed. Let's see. Things that surprised. I'll go with more with things that surprised me.
Okay.
I thought Ori looked awesome. The indie platformer.
Right, and I'm kind of hoping that that's not actually an exclusive to the Xbox or the Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because, I mean, all of these indie games seem to eventually come out on every platform because they need the money. So,
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it will eventually be on the PlayStation Store and on Steam and all those other things, but it looked phenomenal.
It's true. It just, I was like, they showed the trailer, and I was like, all right, procedural thing, board, oh, he's getting into a ship. Oh, he's flying around. Okay, sold.
Okay, you're talking No Man's Sky. I was talking Ori.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's cool because that
Which
was
also, Ori and Valiant Hearts were two indie games that I saw. Valiant Hearts was the World War One dog game,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that looks like it's going to be the saddest game, but it looks awesome.
Ori definitely had the feels going on too.
Yeah,
Like-
both of those did.
Like when the little sprite thing comes up against the shadowy fuzzy thing, and the shadowy fuzzy thing is obviously no longer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really sad.
I was surprised to see Crackdown.
I liked Crackdown. Like, I never
Yeah.
owned an Xbox, but I played Crackdown on friends' Xboxes. And Crackdown is one of those funniest games because it was totally a game that no one bought because it was Crackdown. They bought so they could get into the Halo 2 beta. And then everybody that I know that bought it loved it.
It was great. I loved it. I want Mirror's Edge 2. I'm like the only person who loved Mirror's Edge, and the fact that they're actually making another Mirror's Edge game is super exciting to me.
Was that kind of parkour-ish game?
Yes.
Yeah. With
The original I loved so much.
I like the original, but it gives me vertigo playing it. And
I can see that.
I just couldn't do it. Like, I could only play so much of it.
Fire alarm is going off again.
Okay. No Man's Sky.
I thought it was interesting how they were talking about their development strategy with the few people that they have working on it. They're talking about all the different ways that they were varying the trees and the rocks and how it's all really the same model, but they're making the slightest little differences just to make it economic.
Well, that game is kind of my holy grail. And like I said at the top of the show, talking about Star Citizen, I think No Man's Sky is going to be the game I want to play instead of Star Citizen. You know, just because Star Citizen comes from the lineage of Wing Commander. And Wing Commander was fun, but it's very much a not flight simi, but a very heavy dogfightery game. And while that's cool, the aspect of the spacefaring game that looks the coolest to me is just the exploration of being able to land on a planet and, you know, see what you can find there and take off and go to another planet. So I'm very much intrigued by that, especially if, like, you can explore everything on the planet and have, like, actual on-planet interaction with critters that you can go explore, and, you know, especially if the entire planet is really truly explorable with caves and ecosystems and all that wonderful stuff. That seems interesting to me. Like, that's an entire universe to go explore that's procedurally generated. And I don't know, like, I love the idea of roguelike games. I love the fact that I never quite know what I'm going to find. And that's always the hook for me, is like I never quite know what's going on.
Like Minecraft in space.
I'll say that I think the game looks really fun and interesting, but I want to see more about it first.
The big thing that I think is interesting about it is the fact that they went with a really bold color palette, and that makes it feel more foreign. Star Citizen has a very Quake-like palette where everything is, you know, black and gray and various metal tones, and, you know, in the future, no one has color. And I would rather go land on a planet with a purple sky and, you know, blue trees. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the game Love. But it was a Minecraft-y type game that had a very impressionistic look to it, and it felt a lot like this game could totally be its, you know, logical successor.
Interesting.
So another big game that looked amazing to me was Destiny, obviously. And I'm risking talking about it while Tam's AFK, but I've been in the alpha for a bit. Actually, I got into the alpha yesterday, and it was like a 7 gig download, so it didn't take very long. I've played long enough to get through the first mission, and then it really opens up from there. And I think now I'm level 6-ish as a Titan, which is kind of their... if you've ever played Mass Effect, it's kind of like a Vanguard to where you have, some melee attacks in there too. I'm digging it a lot. You had some questions about it, Dal, I think.
Oh, I was just kind of curious of what you thought of, because I know it's a multiplayer only game. And
No, it's totally not multiplayer only.
oh, really? You can play it by yourself?
Oh, yeah, it's PvE. I mean, that's the thing is okay, I know it is totally a Bungie game, and people who play Halo focus on the multiplayer capabilities of it, but it totally felt like I was playing an MMO. And that was the weird part, is it's the shooter, and it kind of felt like a little like Borderlands, except for one of the mechanics was I landed on a planet, and you do fly around the universe, kind of, but it's a very on-rails interaction with the universe. And there's a planet called Tower that you go back to, and that's kind of your base of operation for the Guardians, which is the group that you're part of. So you land on Earth, and I was in a Russian area. And while you're out in the field, other Guardians have left these tracking beacons, and each one of those has a quest associated with it. May go somewhere and recover something, or such and such has been spotted in the area, go take it out. So there's just all these little random quests that pop up, and then every so often, these group events show up, and solo, you totally can't take it by yourself. I got attacked by this giant walking tank thing, and
People keep talking about that one.
It's insane. The walking tank was insane. It would draw a bead in on me, and then it would fire a blast out. But the radius of this blast was just insane. You couldn't hide behind stuff because you would still get hit by the concussive blast, and it would kill you in one shot. And all the while this is going on, there's dropships flying in and dropping off new little enemies to fight. And the most annoying ones are those the little drones that fly around. But it's definitely fun. I really like the feel of Destiny.
I was enjoying it.
I'm one of those people that hates console shooters, or has hated console shooters in the past, and the controls felt really natural.
My one thing from Destiny was that wizards from the moon.
That cracked me up.
I lost it.
Yeah, I don't know how I was supposed to react to that line. If you see something floating around, kill it.
I'm pretty sure that it's all temp VO.
Probably,
but I'm not really sure.
But it was so funny, maybe in the future that line doesn't sound funny, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry if I have a kind of staccato rhythm.
No problem.
There's an alarm blaring in the background, and I'm cutting myself off so you don't.
Okay. Hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully somebody just burnt some popcorn.
Some kid pulled a fire alarm.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so actually, I was grilling you for the titles that you thought were cool, and I think the last one we talked about was No Man's Sky, maybe?
No Man's Sky, Ori, Valiant Hearts. If I thought anybody would play with me, Rainbow Six The Siege.
I don't like tactical shooters. I was not a fan of Counter-Strike at all. So
I can see that.
That feels very much like a Counter-Strike game.
Oh yeah, it's like Counter-Strike +++. Yeah.
I mean, they're cool and all, but honestly, of the modern shooter genre, the one I was the most impressed with was Battlefield Hardline. I thought that, I was shocked. I thought that looked actually fun.
Yeah, that one looked fun.
I mean, I had written off Battlefield and Call of Duty ages ago, and that one looks really cool. That's interesting to me that, you're playing basically cops and robbers.
Yeah. What was the other one? There was one other one. Oh, Tales from the Borderlands is really funny to me.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, because it very much feels like, hey guys, this is our B team. We're not gonna promise much of anything, but at the same time, it looks kind of cool.
Could be fun.
I just don't know. The whole on the moon stuff looks ridiculously fun.
Oh no! Sorry, Tales from the Borderlands is the Telltale. It's Telltale, like the Walking Dead team does Borderlands.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. That one's weird.
That one's even weirder.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I get those names confused in my head because I'm not used to having 2 Borderlands titles out around the same time. Yeah, so Tales, I don't know. I do feel like there's enough story in the Borderland universe to totally support a adventure game. I just don't know if we want to play that adventure game.
Well, when somebody said we're coming out soon is a adventure game based entirely around zombies, I was like, ugh, really? And then they made The Walking Dead, so I'm pretty much okay writing Telltale
Telltale is amazing.
pass.
I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff they do is amazing. The Monkey Island stuff they did was amazing. I don't know. I feel like
They do good work.
I've heard the Back to the Future series was amazing.
It was very good.
I've not played it. So I have far more faith in Tales of the Borderland than I do the
pre-sequel?
Pre-sequel, yeah.
I thought that the Mass Effect 4 fluffiest of vapor information tease comments.
That was just cruel. Like, so
we're working on it, guys.
We've
You
known.
won't believe it.
We've known they were working on another. Well, okay, I didn't know. I knew they were working on something Mass Effect related, but I didn't realize it was being treated as a full-blown new Mass Effect game. I almost expected that would be a B Team project.
Nope.
Or it would be a very divergent title in their universe.
And they're working on some kind of
yeah, they've got a brand new
IP.
IP. Yeah, and they announced that last E3.
like.
And I expected,
all right.
I expected they would totally announce it in proper, like, here's what it's going to be. But no, they're being teases, and maybe they're waiting for PAX. I mean,
Who even? If you're going to announce something, you'd think you'd announce it at E3, but
I don't know.
who knows?
But so much frustration was on Twitter that they teased Mass Effect and didn't give any details other than some really high-res models of armors that we've already seen.
Yeah. Oh, finally it stopped.
Yay! So
On the topic of, because I was scrolling through the list, on the topic of other games that I'm excited about that nobody will play with me, The Crew looks
Man.
so awesome.
yeah, no.
Like,
no.
yeah,
That-
no.
Is it the car racing one?
It's every racing game, the MMO, drive across the US with your team of people doing challenges. That sounds so fun to me. Everything from like midnight street racing to off-roading in trucks in the.
My problem is I just don't like racing games that much.
It's fair.
I mean, if I'm going to play a racing game, I want to play Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I mean, that's my style of racing game. Let's have crazy weapons that you, or God, what was the crazy series with the clown?
I love arcade racers where it's like it's not like a sim. It's not like Forza, which is like simulate the
Well, okay, so
feel of driving real cars.
if it were like Cruisin' USA type style,
Yes,
I would probably dig it.
That's totally what. So like the difference between a game like Forza and like Need for Speed Rivals is like Need for Speed Rivals is like Cruisin' USA. It's like a drive really fast and do crazy stunts, and it's completely madness.
Okay, yeah. See, I actually dig that style of game.
Like I love those. Like like the super.
Burnout.
Yeah, like Burnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burnout. The Need for Speed titles.
I think Blur was that way too.
Blur. I mean, Blur was basically a kart racer, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the Crew looks like that to me.
Okay.
Like I could be wrong.
I
could be
totally
wrong and
expected
could
it to be
simmy.
more simmy.
But I don't. I'm not a big fan of. I'm with you. I don't really feel. I'm not a big fan of simmy racing games.
Like,
But-
Gran Turismo is not my thing
Yeah,
anymore.
Gran
Like,
Turismo, Forza, not really my thing. But man, I love getting a fancy, like a ridiculous, silly, fancy car, tricking it out and making it look ridiculous, and driving it incredibly fast and in terribly unsafe ways in usually opposing traffic.
oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's neat. If you have a PS4, you can get Need for Speed Rivals on the cheap. You might actually enjoy it because that's what that game is. It's crazy driving.
I've actually
things.
looked at it and considered it.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, because I mean that's the kind of racing game I like. Is just I either want to play Mario Kart or I want to play real world, wholly unrealistic driving.
Yeah, and that's what I keep thinking I'm seeing from the Crew, and I could be wrong. if I'm wrong, then I won't like the game as much as I thought.
There's two similar games coming out. And there's The Crew, and then there's another title, and I forget what the other title is. And one of them seemed like it was going to be more arcadey, and one of them seemed like it was going to be more sim. And I don't remember which way it was.
I'm pretty sure The Crew is the more arcadey one.
Because the other one was talking about racing against your friend's ghosts and things like that.
Oh no! As soon as they talk about ghosts and racing games,
Drive Club is the other one. Yeah,
Drive Club is the other one, and I'm not thrilled about Drive Club.
Yeah, I have zero interest in that one.
The Crew is like dude in a sports car driving up with dude in a like dune buggy, completing heists together.
Yeah,
that sounds really fun.
Crew totally reminded me of what, what's the Saints Row? It totally reminded me of the Saints Row of driving games.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board with that. Like, I could do that.
Like, I have their trailer up, and I'm watching and their trailer is like them racing at probably 90 miles an hour through a rainy city street with cops chasing them. Like, it looks ridiculous.
Okay, so were there other games that you thought no one would like that I can prove you wrong?
I don't know. That's most of it.
Okay, so the title that I just don't even understand is the Professor Layton Phoenix Wright game.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, like I
somehow missed that one.
I gotta find the link.
Oh! I don't know how I even forgot to mention this one. Games that surprised me. Grim Fandango?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Sony's bankrolling a Grim Fandango remake for the PS4?
Okay, so I gotta admit that the two titles that pushed me over the edge in the buying of a PlayStation 4 was No Man's Sky and Grim Fandango. I loved Grim Fandango.
That was one of my favorite games back, that classic game back in the day. Even though I sucked at it, but I love that game.
I love that game. I just never thought I would see it on a next-gen console.
Yeah, okay, so August 29th, 2014 is the release of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It is totally a real game.
I got my money on Professor Layton, by the way.
Probably. So yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of titles that looked good to me. I'll just have to see how they shake out. Like, I still think Order 1886, I think, is the title.
Yes.
I think it looks really cool. Like, it's kind of a...
I hope that game is the game I'm hoping it is.
It really looked like steampunky Victorian Gears of War.
I'm into that.
Like, based on the gameplay trailer I have seen, that's what it looks like. The only thing that I'm concerned is that it may be a little cutscene heavy for me.
Possibly.
Also, I'm really looking forward to the Last of Us remake, or the remastered version, because I have not played Last of Us, and when I considered buying a PS4, I figured I'd just hold off and play it on the PS4. I'm also looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed 4, but that's not from this year's E3, obviously.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's a game that I think looks really fun that I don't know if anybody else will play with me. Evolve. Evolve
looks really cool. I just don't know which side I would want to play. Like, do I want to play the hunter, or do I want to play the giant freaking monster? Because it feels like the deck is stacked against the giant freaking monster.
I have no idea.
I watched some gameplay. Like, I watched a tournament of people playing it, and it was all, gaming celebrity playing. But it was like Team Chobot, and but the person playing the monster, I felt bad for, because like they have really powerful attacks, but they can only use them every so often. So like they're playing the Kraken, and it had to keep going away and lurking into the darkness to hide. And there were like birds and stuff that if they accidentally got too close, the birds would fly away and alert, the hunters to the presence of, the monster. So it looked really interesting. But again, that was a Xbox title, and I don't really plan on buying an Xbox anytime soon.
That's fair.
But yeah, it was one of the more exciting E3s I've seen in a while. The only disappointing thing is the E3 always has a massive focus on console gaming. And I know a lot of these titles are coming out for the PC, but they never really seem to highlight that. partially because, I mean, the big conferences are all console manufacturers, unless it's, E3 or EA and Ubisoft.
Yeah.
The game that I'm actually looking forward to playing is Elder Scrolls Online on a console. I kind of want to do that.
If you ever have people over and have the opportunity to play Just Dance, you should. I know that sounds like madness.
It does sound like madness,
but it's one of the most stupidly fun party games I've ever played.
So, considering I actively avoid having people over, it's probably not me, but like...
It was more for Ray.
Yeah.
Nobody visits me.
Hey, we totally visited you!
Yeah, you
Once.
tried to sabotage it by making them all sick at lunch.
I did not. I think Scott was just bailing on you, politely.
Like a punk.
Yeah. But Dal needs to come up again and come to visit.
I won't play Just Dance 4, though. That's the last thing anybody wants me to do.
We can always just bait and switch you. Yeah. We'll totally play, your Dungeons and Dragons game that you brought over, and then we'll really not play it at all and play Just Dance.
It's Halo 4 co-op with the Kinect. Yeah.
Yeah. No. But yeah, so that was E3 for the most part. Anything else that folks want to talk about relating to E3 or not relating to E3?
Kind of one thing, and I've talked about this on my blog a little bit. I really wish they would stop. Like, okay, Assassin's Creed 4, it's got the co-op, but they seem to trying to force you to do the co-op. Like, I saw in the video that they were walking through like a room and it had, hey, there's this mission, but it requires 4 players. I don't know. I don't like having a game tell me I need to do co-op.
I don't know. Like, I feel like both games should be functional, but neither one is required. Like, I feel like you should have a really good experience co-op, and you should have a really good experience single player. But I get frustrated when it's just assumed that you're going to have a co-op player with you.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with them having the co-op there. I mean, that's really awesome. If I had people to play with, I would totally do some co-op on that game. But I mean, I'm looking forward to Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, and I heard that there's going to be online player invasions where they can come and invade your base.
So that shit does not sound fun at all to me. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons why I haven't played Demon Souls yet. I don't like the whole concept that the only way I can keep from that happening is to disconnect Steam.
Hopefully they'll do it like, okay, Watch Dogs has that same thing where they have player invasions, but there's a menu option to turn it off. If they give me that option to turn that off in Phantom Pain, I will turn it off.
Like, okay, so here's my thing, is like, even if I know like the PS4 has a friends only option on a lot of the settings, and I'd be cool to like turn it on to where my friends can do that to me, but nobody else can, because I don't really want Griefer McGriefer to come ruin my day, because there are totally players that's all they do, and they're playing ArcAge.
I'll talk about ArcAge another time. I still want to try it, but like you said, it just seems like it's a world of grief.
So my friend Sprinks was all about that game a few weeks ago, and she reached the point at which she's in her 30s now and has to level exclusively in open PvP areas. And her opinion of that game has turned 360. And there's other issues she's had with it too, like the fact that there's no reward for healers. Like, you don't get rewarded for healing. Like, it doesn't count as participation. So those two things alone, like, have really soured the milk there. It's got the worst community I've ever seen. It really does. Like, I mean, that's saying a lot. Like, I've been in some pretty heinous communities, and it was horrible. It's just, I don't know how to fully explain the horribleness of that community.
Well,
I think
there's got to be pockets of normalcy, but I think everybody is just quiet and they're not talking in public channels because they're afraid the griefers will come get them. But what were you going to say, Ray?
There's a reason I don't play on PvP servers in WoW. I tried it once because I had some friends on there, and after I was playing Horde, so there was these 2 gnomes running around, and they would wait until me or whoever else was leveling to engage something, and then they would nuke us. This was Hellfire Peninsula, so we were all about the same level.
Right.
And at one point, we started paying attention, and we would kill them anytime they tried to kill us. Well, they got mad after we killed them twice, regardless of the fact that they killed us probably 5 times, hopped on their max level characters, came out and just killed everything in the area. And that's not rewarding gameplay, you know. If I'm leveling up a character from the start, how am I supposed to counteract that?
Right. Well, and the problem that I ran into too is, so they had a justice system to where you can claim that a player has wronged you and put you before a tribunal. Well, the problem that I saw is you would have griefers come over, kill a player a couple times, they kill the player back, and then the players that were griefing them put them in for the justice system.
Oh, yeah.
And then the thing is everybody's like giving out the highest possible sentences they can probably give, which means, you know, so this person that got griefed and violated now gets violated again by the court and has like a 14-hour ban on their character. Or not ban, but they put them in a jail cell and like literally you're there for 14 hours. So
Well,
it's not anything I'm interested in anymore.
Well, I'll point out one thing. I agree with you on that, is that you can break out of the prisons.
Yeah, I've heard that. But you still have like a bounty on your head when you do.
Yeah, and this system really reinforce the bad behavior. That's probably what they're going to have to look at if they want any kind of reliable community to launch the game with.
I don't know. Like, I would totally play that game if it had a co-op server. That would be the only option, because there's a lot of interesting stuff in that game. Like, it's got systems within systems within systems, and there's so many cool things going on. Like, trade runs are cool. The fact that you can have big ship-to-ship battles is cool. But yeah, it would have to be like a different rule set than the default to get me to play there. Anyway, so we've gone over again.
I'm sure there's plenty for you to edit out.
I'm sure, because you know we'll get rid of some of the fire drill stuff.
Sorry.
It's okay. I would be freaking out if my fire alarm was going off too. Let's do the whole where can we get a hold of us kind of thing. Dallian.
Twitter, it's Dr_Hannah. Same for a Nook. I can't think of any other ones right off the top of my head now.
Okay.
I know there's more, but I can't think of them.
Ray.
Well, I'm still at littlerayofsun.com.
Cool. Tam doesn't give out his information?
But
Oh,
you should
you do.
know. Oh, no, I don't. But in lieu of the usual plug,
Okay.
I would like to remind everyone that the in 1 day and 1 hour, the Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta starts. You
Yes.
can check that out at 4jobfiesta.com. Ash will be very happy to hear me say that.
Ash will be ecstatic that you plugged that, because I totally forgot to plug it. I figured he was going to plug it next week. Me, I'm at Belghast on Twitter, and Belghast on Twitch, and Belghast on a Nook, and I write the Tales of the Aggronaut blog at aggronaut.com. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.
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 Bye.